The Messi versus Ronaldo debate is the most controversial one in sports. It has split fans for years, and no matter how much you argue, there will never be a universally accepted answer. But what I'm about to show you in this video will completely change the way you see this debate forever. In this video, we're going to look at just how impossible these two careers really are, showing how far beyond the history of football they went and what it would actually take for anyone to replicate their greatness. Only then do you realize that what they achieved may have permanently ruined the way we watch football. We all know about the Ballon d'Or, the Champions League, and the endless number of goals and trophies they've won. But what you may not realize is just how unreachable some of the records they broke really are. So let's break it all down, because it gets way crazier than you think. Before we break down what they did together, let's first look at their dominance separately, starting with the machine himself. Throughout his career, Ronaldo has been known as the embodiment of hard work, and over the years, we've seen firsthand how that work turned him into an unstoppable force in football. At 41 years old, with a senior career now stretching across roughly 24 years, Ronaldo is the all-time leader in official career goals, and his total is still rising. He is already up to 965 goals in 1,309 games for club and country. Beyond scoring more goals than anyone else in football history, Ronaldo has a level of adaptability that still doesn't get talked about enough. Whether in England, Spain, or Italy, he found a way to dominate. He handled the physicality of the Premier League, the technical demands of La Liga, and the tactical discipline of Serie A. And on top of that, he won league titles in all three countries. The fact that he stayed that consistent for so long is one of the things that truly separates Ronaldo. Elite forwards might hit those kinds of heights once or twice. Ronaldo kept reaching them year after year. Now let's focus on what I think is Ronaldo's greatest achievement, his Champions League records. Ronaldo is still, by a distance, the all-time top scorer in Champions League history with 140 goals, with Messi second on 129 and Lewandowski third on 101. He is the only player to score in 3 separate Champions League finals. He won the competition 5 times, and he finished as the tournament's top scorer 7 times. What he did in the Champions League has no comparison. Then you have Messi, who finished as top scorer 6 times. When you really look at those records, it puts into perspective how far ahead Ronaldo was from everyone else in that competition. But now it's time to talk about the absurdity of someone whose records I would bet my life will not be broken. Let's talk about the alien. While researching this video, the number of records Messi holds felt genuinely unreal. But I'm going to go over what I think are the craziest ones. And let me tell you, what you're about to see is ridiculous. Messi ranks first in so many categories. He owns the record for the most goals ever scored in a single top-flight league, with 474 in La Liga. He is also the most decorated player in football history with 47 team trophies. And then there are the records everybody knows. His 8 Ballon d'Or, his 2 World Cup Golden Balls, his World Cup winner's medal, and the fact that he remains the only player ever to score in the group stage, round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, and final of a single World Cup. What is hardest for me to process about Messi is just how far ahead he is of everyone else. It's difficult to put that gap into words, so it's easier to show it. If you chart the players with the most goals and assists in Europe's major leagues in the 21st century, you see legendary names everywhere. You see icons, killers, and all-time great attackers. Then Ronaldo stands way above, almost all of them. And then there's Messi, still separated even from that. He made numbers that would define an entire career for most players look almost ordinary. He distorted our sense of what greatness is supposed to look like. It's almost pointless to go through every single record, but there is one thing I think everybody has to see: the greatest year in football history. I could make an entire video just about this one year, but let's summarize how absurd it really was. In 2012, Messi scored 91 goals in a calendar year, officially the most anyone has ever scored. What makes it even crazier is that he also produced the longest scoring streak in consecutive league matches, finding the net in 21 straight La Liga games and scoring 33 goals during that run. To really appreciate how exceptional Messi was in that period, you have to understand that even by his own impossible standards, 2011-12 and that broader 2012 run still stand apart. 3 digits, goals and assists in a single season. There are no words left for that. Up to this point, I've only talked about Messi and Ronaldo separately, but I promised you that what I'm about to show you would change the way you appreciate them forever. Look, Messi and Ronaldo need their own category in football, and I'll tell you why. Before the two of them took over, the average number of league goals needed to win the Golden Boot in a major season was in the high 20s. Seasons in the high 30s already looked outrageous. Then came the years when Messi and Ronaldo completely shattered the scale. Again and again, they pushed league scoring into territory that had stopped looking human. Both reached the 40-goal mark in league play multiple times, and Messi once went all the way to 50. It got to the point where normal, elite goal scoring no longer looked elite because these two had broken everyone's expectations. And that is where the distortion really begins. Once you've watched two players make 40, league goals feel routine. How are you supposed to look at 25 the same way again? At some point, it stopped making sense to compare Messi and Ronaldo with other attackers. During their peak overlap, their output stopped resembling star forwards and started resembling entire systems. For long stretches, what they produced together looked less like two players and more like something football was never built to contain. Seeing one of them was already an anomaly. Seeing both of them at the same time was something that may never happen again. And the deeper truth is that for all the joy they brought to football, they also ruined it a little at the same time. They redefined greatness. The stats and achievements of past generations are now reread through the lens of Messi and Ronaldo, and that shifts everybody else down a level. Take someone like Cruyff, 3 Ballons d'Or, 3 European Cups, a revolutionary legacy, and a career that once felt impossible to surpass. He is still, unquestionably, a GOAT of his era. But when you place those numbers next to Ronaldo's 5 Ballon d'Or and 5 Champions League titles, and Messi's 8 Ballons d'Or, the scale changes. And even in the rare years when someone else managed to interrupt their monopoly, like Luka Modric in 2018, Karim Benzema in 2022, or Rodri in 2024, the era still belonged overwhelmingly to Messi and Ronaldo. That matters because when you define an era almost by yourself, your legacy rises even higher. Players like Xavi, Iniesta, Neymar, Neuer, and Van Dijk all had seasons that, in many other football eras, would have sat much closer to the absolute center of the conversation. But Messi and Ronaldo changed the frame around them. Since turning 30, Ronaldo has scored 500 goals. Read that again, 500 goals after 30. He also won 3 Champions League titles after that age, 3 league titles, the European Championship with Portugal, and 2 more Ballon d'Or. His post-30 career is better than the full career of 99% of players. While most footballers are winding down by 35, Messi was lifting the World Cup. And what we're seeing now is that the next generation is already feeling the weight of Messi and Ronaldo's legacy. When Vinicius was being discussed as a possible Ballon d'Or winner in 2024, so much of the reaction wasn't about whether he was great. It was about whether his numbers looked small next to Messi and Ronaldo. That's the problem. Their standards became so impossible that future stars are now judged against a scale that was never normal to begin with. I think that will absolutely devalue future achievements in the eyes of a lot of people. We won't really be able to help it. And what about Messi's goal contribution record? Using the most widely tracked official career totals, Messi is now sitting at 899 goals and roughly 1,306 total goal contributions. That is a number I genuinely do not think will be touched. Take Lamine Yamal. He is already 18, already a first-team star, and already one of the brightest talents in world football. But to match Messi's current goal contribution total, someone like Yamal would need to average roughly 73 goals and assists per season for 18 straight years. Touching that number once is elite. Doing it every single year for nearly 2 decades is beyond absurd. For anyone to even get close to these numbers, they would need the discipline, the luck, the longevity, the consistency, the teammates, the fitness, the environment. There are just too many variables involved. I simply cannot see anyone ever reaching this level again. What we witnessed with Messi and Ronaldo was truly unique, except we witnessed both of them at the same time. And the truth is, they probably needed each other to get there. Each knew the other was always there, ready to punish any drop in standards. Neither of them could afford a bad year because the other one would immediately seize the advantage. Their motivation came from knowing they had to be better than the other. And in the end, that gave us the greatest rivalry in the history of sports. So, no matter who you believe is better, the heights these two reached are heights we are very unlikely to ever see again.